Good afternoon, my fair lady.
Good afternoon, my young sir.
May I inquire as to your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Are you from a story?
No, I've actually written a story about my life throughout the past years.
The past years. And do you have a sister? I have heard that there may be a sister.
There is one sister.
And what is her name?
She would like me not to mention.
Okay. Okay. Now, your story, what was the name of your story again?
My story was named The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride. So there's a young prince in this story, I take it.
You are correct.
Okay. Well, Miss Elizabeth, how old were you when you first met this prince?
I was 16 years old. I turned 16 2 days before I met him.
Okay. And you met him, where did you meet him?
I met him at a palace.
At a palace. How long did it take you to get from where you lived to that palace?
It took at least 2 months.
2 months? That's a long time. Did you travel on foot?
No.
Well, how did you get there? Did you travel in something or on something?
We traveled through on a wagon. My mom, my sister, and I.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, why did it take so long for the wagon ride to get to the palace?
Well, first of all, there was some trouble. Some people took our luggage or got confused. And plus, my sister was going to meet the prince, and she had to get fittings on the way there.
So the reason for the trip was for your sister to meet the prince?
Yes.
And you got to meet the prince too?
Yes.
Wow. All right. And why was your sister going to meet the prince? What was her purpose for the trip?
Well, what happened in the beginning was my mother would refuse to let any of her children marry non-worthy folk.
Like nobility. They had to marry nobility?
Non-worthy, like not rich.
Oh.
They have to be rich. So, and the prince was very interested in my sister.
Okay. And well, when you arrived at the palace, what did you do?
Well, the prince's mother had something planned for my sister to meet the emperor and me to meet the emperor's brother.
Oh, the emperor is that the prince?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, and you were to meet the actual prince's brother?
Yes.
Now, did you meet the brother?
I did, but I got extremely nervous because his brother questioned me very awkwardly.
And the prince, when you met him, what did you do?
He was very charming, and we discussed horseback riding and how to rule a kingdom correctly.
Oh, now when the prince met you, how did he act? How did he react to you?
Very normal.
Very normal. Did he stare at you?
Was
he shy?
After I left, he began to stare, and I noticed that.
Why? Do you know why he was staring at you?
After a couple of, the next day, I found out that he liked me instead of my sister because I was very stunning and I was excellent at sports and I was I was always very adventurous, and that's what they look for.
Oh. So was your sister adventurous like you?
No, she was very, she would obey and not do what she wanted, and she was somewhat boring.
She was boring. So he didn't like that?
Mm-mm.
He liked you better.
Yes.
So ultimately, what ended up happening out of this meeting with this fair prince at the palace?
Well, what happened was, he started to like me, and so the next day after he told me, his mother would not let him marry me because she said that I wasn't worthy. And she also said that my sister was, but he argued with her. He said that he wasn't interested and he didn't want to marry someone he didn't like or love. So at dinner, his mother pulled me aside and talked to me and decided to put me into training for 2 months.
Princess training?
Yes.
So what happened out of your training?
Well, what happened was I had to talk to the people or the commoners and meet different royal families and go to different castles, get so many fittings. I had like 10,000 pairs of shoes, and every day I had to throw away the pair I wore.
Really?
Yes,
So you had a new pair of shoes on your feet every day.
exactly, which I thought was so dumb.
What about the dresses? Did you have to throw them away too?
I only got to wear them twice, and then I was able to give them to whoever I would like.
Okay, so after you did all this training, what ended up transpiring?
What ended up transpiring is my mother left, of course. My sister and I decided not to talk until a while afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
The wedding was postponed because I was still not yet ready to become a princess.
A wedding?
Yes.
Whose wedding?
The princess and I's, because during my 2 months of training, he decided to propose.
He did.
He did.
And you obviously?
Said yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so did you ultimately end up getting married to this prince?
I did. But it was a very unhappily marriage.
Really?
Yes.
Is that in this story?
Yes.
Could you tell me about it?
Well, after we got married, the prince decided, well, he was always in charge of different countries, so he was always gone. And then after he decided that he was done traveling and wanted to be around me, his mother hated me, so she kept him away from me, of course. And that was pretty much it until a couple months later. He argued with his mom and he was able to see me, but he got so caught up in his own little world that he forgot about me. And his mother still hated me no matter what, because unlike other people, I ate without gloves. I rode horses with both legs straddled on a saddle, and I really didn't listen to all the royal rules. I treated commoners very nicely,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very I was very kind and nice, and everyone loved me except the royal family.
Okay. Is this a royal kitty from your story?
Yes, this is my cat. She has been with me since the wedding. It was a gift.
Well, she is a mighty beautiful kitty.
Thank you.
So she's a royalty as well.
Yes.
All right.